Hey minions, welcome to Crank It Up. I'm Jim Price, and on this episode of King of the Hill, I want to look at two Geek King minions, Wil Wheaton and Felicia Day. I'm just going to come out and say this up front. Wil Wheaton often gets mentioned as one of the most powerful and possibly broken cards in the game, and he certainly is powerful. But I think this distracts from just how powerful Felicia Day is, and I often find myself fearing her just as much, if not more. Both of them have their uses, and I think Zombie Geeks is one of the most powerful two-player combinations in Smash Up. The faction combination requires you to decide which you'll retrieve and play more, creating situations rather than reacting to them. So I ask you, which is better? Wil Wheaton's ability is to cancel an opposing action as it's being played, bringing Wil Wheaton into play instead. Many people find this broken because of the action canceling ability, but I don't see that as an issue. I have other problems with the card, however. First, it adds a timed reaction element to Smash Up that previously didn't exist and hasn't existed since. Wil Wheaton is supposed to be played after the action is declared, but before it takes effect, and it doesn't always Some players have tried to retroactively apply Wil Wheaton, but there are some things that cannot be undone. Good luck unshuffling your deck. The way to avoid this is to allow 5 seconds of reaction when playing Geeks, and it's awkward. It's unnecessary when you don't have Force or Wil Wheaton in your hand, but to indicate that really hurts your position as the Geek player. Don't give away free information. So the timing is awkward, and the fact that you not just cancel the action, but get to play the minion as well, really can be a game changer. On a contested base, one player might try to play a Howl to bump them up, only to have Wil Wheaton be played instead and be the difference maker. I've heard many complain about being able to play a minion on someone else's turn during Phase 2, and together, both of these abilities are really powerful indeed. Any extremely powerful action can be prevented, and you have no way of knowing in advance. For this reason, Wil Wheaton is never, and should never, be played as a normal minion, or even as an extra minion, unless you are winning the game. He almost always has more value as a counter, especially on the very next turn, because you can break and win a base on someone else's turn while wasting one of their best cards. But the fact that you don't play Wil Wheaton normally is somewhat underwhelming at the same time. Players know it's coming, and they'd rather just get the cancel over with. I wonder if a better choice would have been to give Wil Wheaton an ongoing ability to sacrifice himself to cancel an action played. Ongoing, when an action is played, you may place this minion into your discard pile to cancel that action. This way, players know that Wil Wheaton is an option, and you no longer need to worry about unnecessary pausing, assuming you did something similar with Force of Will. It also reduces the sting of having your turn hijacked. Admittedly, getting a 4-powered minion and canceling your best action is really powerful and probably unfair. The Geeks have handicaps to balance this out, but with a faction like Zombies where you can spam Wil Wheaton, it's really hard to beat, especially in 2 players. I wouldn't blame you if you chose Wil Wheaton over Felicia Day. Some days I feel like that myself. With Control Minion and Wil Wheaton, you can effectively take over a player's entire turn, and that just doesn't seem fair. And yet, Felicia Day gets overlooked so much when her ability can be just as powerful, only in a different way. Felicia Day moves all minions to a single base. In recent years, they have been minions that can block this, but for the most part, everyone moves. Play Felicia Day onto a high ground base and have fun destroying everything. Felicia Day has the ability to affect multiple bases in a way that Wil Wheaton can only do by preventing an opponent from doing the same. I love and fear how Felicia Day can be used offensively and defensively. Power creep is a real threat in Smash Up, where you supply power that enables other players to close a base with your help. It makes movement so powerful as you can spread minions out on several bases before converging on your true target. Felicia Day fully embraces this, as you can scatter your minions, then pick a base to close. Most movement actions only target 1 or 2 minions, and there are very few actions that can provide the same type of consolidation that Felicia Day does. Even the ones that approximate it generally only affect one player, whereas Felicia Day affects them all. This may seem bad on paper, but it's great. I love winning a base 17 to 16 to 15 and forcing my opponents to extremely overpay for their respective positions. As a card you play on your turn, you simply wait for the opportune moment to strike, and I see this opportunity arise every game with Geeks, unless an experienced player is deliberately trying to avoid it. If a ninja base is out, let a player accumulate a ton of power wherever, getting an extremely easy second place and more points for one minion. I even like this play on a 4-3-2 base or a 3-2-2 base, or ones of similar differentials. Anytime you can get almost the same points for nowhere near the same amount of effort is a great moment, and Felicia Day excels with this. For me, Felicia Day makes an amazing play with terraforming. If you don't see the ninja style base out there in play, go grab it from the base deck. If you follow the base deck rules, you should know exactly what's in there. Hopefully Winter Squashed is in there. Factory 4361337 makes for a great target to win 17 to 16 to 5 because the point spread is so thick. Wil Wheaton definitely helps you win a base, but Felicia Day affects multiple bases and multiple players at the same time. In this way, you've hijacked the efforts of several turns to your advantage. One of my favorite Mythic Horse strategies is to spread out and either converge on a base or use super future space armor power for multiple bases. This is extremely effective, and Felicia Day counters either outcome because you can math it out. With Wil Wheaton, I find myself asking, is this the right moment? Is this the right card? With Felicia Day, I tend to know exactly when it's the right moment. This is why, when I play Zombie Geeks, I find myself grabbing Felicia Day a lot more than Wil Wheaton because of the net overall effect. The way I've been able to use it, it's trumped Wil Wheaton. Felicia Day plus control minion also makes for a great way to close a base by yourself. It doesn't help that the Geeks also have Force of Will as a fallback option, reducing the sting of Wil Wheaton. At the same time, the card's existence allows you to use Will more liberally, so it can go either way depending on your perspective. Felicia Day also has her flaws as well. Her ability is obligatory, and it may take time for the right power alignment to occur. It doesn't help her cause that the Geeks only have 9 minions, 4 of which I throw away immediately for a different card. I'm not trying to take anything away from Wil Wheaton, I just wanted the opportunity to show just how powerful Felicia Day is as well. Both are extremely great minions, and I'm happy to have either one, and I hate playing against both. I'd love to know which of the two you prefer, so let me know in the comments. I don't think there is a wrong answer as long as you can provide a valid reason, and I look forward to hearing all of them in the comments. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let's shut it down.